That's interesting. So speaking about, I'm sorry if I
No, it's
will
okay,
ask
man.
another question.
No, good.
So speaking about fallen angels, because I met a preacher before and we were talking about these things, but he said those the sons of God does not necessarily mean that those were fallen
Yeah,
angels, but
they can
to
tell
my
you that. Yeah, they can tell you it doesn't mean that. If you read contextually in the context itself, and then you read in light of New Testament, they are angels. I'll prove it to you. If you go to Genesis 6, verses 1 and 2, open it up. Go to Genesis 6, 1 and 2.
Genesis 6, 1 and 2. Now it
Yep.
came to pass when men began to multiply on the face
Now,
of the earth.
slowly, because I'm going to unpack it for you.
Mm-hmm,
Notice it says men in general. Men,
mm-hmm,
not some men. It says men, right?
yes, yeah,
Had what?
began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born to them. That the sons of God saw the daughters of men,
Okay, now
that
before
they
you move
were,
on,
mm-hmm,
in verse 1, it says men had daughters born to them.
mm-hmm,
Is that referring to men in general or some men?
men in general.
But then in verse 2, it tells you the daughters of men. So here you have the daughters of men. So here are the daughters and here are the men who had them, but they are differentiated from the sons of God.
Mm-hmm,
If the sons of God were men, then they would be included in that category of men, right?
yes, sir.
So why are they differentiated? Why are they distinguished?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying and I get it. But their objection was maybe those sons of God were simply like servants of God because they're called
How can they be
servants.
servants of God when they do something sinful and evil and bring about the destruction of the world?
Exactly.
These sons of God, were they righteous or evil? Because through their having sex with these women, God got disgusted with the world and humanity and destroyed it. That sounds like righteous servants of God?
No, they do not.
Okay, so contextually, they cannot be righteous servants of God when they're doing something so horrible and evil that God destroys the world by flood.
Wow.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Now,
So, mhm,
the second proof it's angels and not humans, is Second Peter and Jude. Go to Second Peter chapter 2. You ready?
yes, sir.
Okay. In Second Peter chapter 2, now let me give you the context so you understand what Peter's doing, and Jude's going to do the same thing. In Second Peter 2, Peter is warning that there are going to be false teachers who are going to deny Jesus, whom God will destroy. And then he gives an example of how God treated false teachers in the past to prove that since God doesn't change, God is the same yesterday, today, and forever. You know that if God destroyed false teachers and evildoers in the past, he will do so in the future, right?
Yes, sir.
And then he gives three examples of God destroying false teachers, false prophets, and evildoers for their sins as a warning. These false teachers and their evil, their immorality will be destroyed as well. Three examples from the Old Testament that Peter assumes you, the reader, know where to find them. Now, notice the three examples he gives. Go to 2 Peter 2, read 4 to 8.
4 to 8, it says, "For if God did not spare the angels who sinned, but cast them down to hell and delivered them into the chains of darkness, to be reserved for judgment. 5. And did not spare the ancient world, but saved Noah, one of 8 people, a preacher of righteousness, bringing in the flood on the world of the ungodly. 6. And turning the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah into ashes, condemned them to destruction, making them an example to those who afterward would live ungodly."
All the way to 8, right?
All the way to 8, okay. "And delivered righteous Lot, who was oppressed by the filthy conduct of the wicked. 8. For that righteous man dwelling among them tormented his righteous soul from day to day by seeing and hearing their lawless deeds."
Okay, now, not only is Lot called the righteous man who has a righteous soul and who was burning with anger at what he was seeing, but notice these stories are to be found in the Old Testament. So we know Lot, Sodom, Gomorrah, that's Genesis 18:19, right?
Yes, sir.
We know Noah and the flood, that's Genesis 6, 7, 8, right?
Yes, sir.
Where's the story of the angels?
Come again.
Where's the story of the angels?
The story of the angels in the story of Sodom and Gomorrah.
No, I'm not asking you to ask me. If Peter is telling you about stories in the Old Testament, how God destroyed the wicked and evil, and he gives you the story of Noah and the flood, well, you know where to find that, right?
Yes.
And he then tells you Sodom, Gomorrah, and Lot. You know where to find that, right?
Yes, sir.
But then Peter assumes you'll be able to find the story of angels being punished in the Old Testament. So, where in the Old Testament do you find the story of angels being punished for sin?
Where in the story of Noah when God brought the flood.
There's only one, the sons of God story.
Yes.
Otherwise, what other story could Peter be appealing to as an example of even angels being punished for sin? There is no other place besides Genesis 6,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yes, sir.
And we know that angels are called sons of God because in Job 38, verse 7, Job 38, verse 7, it says, when God laid the foundation of the earth and he created the foundation of the earth, it says, all the sons of God rejoiced with God when he created the earth. Well, there were no human beings at that time. Who were the sons of God that rejoiced when God created the earth before humans existed?
Angels.
Okay. And this is why some of the oldest Jewish interpretations even say the sons of God were angels. For example, the book of Enoch. If you read the book of Enoch, we found a section of Enoch in the Dead Sea Scrolls, and it's translated in English online. When you read the book of Enoch, a copy of it written in Hebrew before the time of Christ, you'll find that in Enoch, it even gives you the names of these angels.
Yeah.
What their names are.
I've read it.
Okay. So here now you have a Jewish source before the time of Christ that says those sons of God were angels. And now go to Jude because Jude even quotes the book of Enoch. Go to Jude. It's one chapter, 25 verses.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so when you go to Jude, let me show you where Jude is quoting the book of Enoch. And this quotation you'll actually find in the book of Enoch that we discovered in 1947, translated in English. In the English, it's the book of Enoch, chapter 1, verse 9. Chapter 1, verse 9, the book of Enoch. This is quoted word for word in Jude. Go to Jude, read verses 14 and 15.
14 and 15. It says, now Enoch, the seventh from Adam, prophesied about this man also, saying, behold, the Lord comes with 10,000s of his saints to execute that judgment on all, to convict all who are ungodly among them of all their ungodly deeds which they have committed in an ungodly way, and of all the harsh things which ungodly sinners have spoken against him.
Okay, here he quotes a prophecy from Enoch, the seventh from Adam. Now, let me show you where that prophecy is. I just sent you the link and I posted it on the screen. Here's the English translation of the book of Enoch, chapter 1, verse 9. Tell me if this sounds familiar. Okay, you just
Yes,
read
sir.
the prophecy, right? Now, look at here. I'm going to put it on the screen. Guys, tell me, he just read Jude 1, 14 and 15. Tell me what I'm about to post to you if it sounds familiar. This is now the English translation of Enoch, chapter 1, verse 9. I give you the link. Now, watch here, guys. Let me just line it all up. Let me read it. Tell me if this sounds familiar. First Enoch, chapter 1, verse 9. And behold, he cometh with 10,000s of his holy ones to execute judgment upon all, and to destroy all the ungodly, and to convict all flesh of all the works of their ungodliness, which they have ungodly committed, and of all the hard things which ungodly sinners have spoken against them. Does that sound familiar?
Yes, sir.
Didn't you just read out in Jude?
Yes, sir.
So that tells you that when Jude wrote this epistle by inspiration of the Holy Spirit, this book of Enoch was in existence and he had access to it because he's quoting from it,
Mm-hmm.
which means that Jude accepts many of the ideas and teachings in Enoch as true and historical.
Yes, sir.
And it's in this book that we're told that the sons of God were angels. So now go to Jude, same chapter, read 5 to 7.
5 to 7 it says, but I want to remind you, though you once knew this, that the Lord having saved the people out of the land of Egypt, afterward destroyed those who did not believe. And the angels who did not keep their proper domain, but left their own abode, he has reserved in everlasting chains under darkness for the judgment of the great day, as Sodom and Gomorrah and the cities around them in a similar manner to these,
Wait.
having
Did you catch it? Read 6 again, because you're going to catch the connection with 7. What did 6 say?
and the angels who did not keep their proper domain, but left their own abode,
So they
he
left
has
heaven, their proper
mhm,
domain, so they came to the world. They left their heavenly abode. They didn't retain their position and they came down. Okay, go ahead.
he has reserved in everlasting chains under darkness for the judgment of the great day,
Now compare it with 7. Watch here.
as Sodom and Gomorrah and the cities around them in a similar manner to these, having given themselves over to sexual immorality
And now you
and
confuse
gone.
me. It says Sodom and Gomorrah did a similar thing that the angels did. Sodom and
Mhm,
Gomorrah and the neighboring cities, in a similar manner, meaning similar to the angels,
mhm.
gave themselves to sexual morality. So, what was the sins of the angels?
Sexual immorality.
You caught it?
Yes, sir.
So, Sodom and Gomorrah committed a similar sin to the angels. What was the sin of Sodom and Gomorrah? Sexual immorality,
Immorality.
homosexuality, rape, and orgies. It says this sin was similar to what the angels did because the angels also committed sexual immorality because angels are not supposed to have sex with humans, just like a man is not supposed to have sex with men or gang rape or orgies.
Mhm.
But now let me ask you another question. The story of Sodom and Gomorrah is in Genesis 18:19, right?
Yes, sir.
The story of God, Jesus Christ our Lord, bringing Israel out of Egypt into the wilderness and then punishing them in the wilderness. Verse 5, that's in the book of Exodus, right?
Yes, sir.
So where do we find the story of the angels? Because Jude, like Peter, assumes you're going to find the story in your Old Testament.
In Genesis.
That's the only place. Now, here are the names of the angels according to Enoch. Here's the link again. Enoch, here it is, online for free, translate in English. Here it is, guys. Chapter 6. Here it is. I gave you the link. Let me post it. Chapter 6, it gives you their names. Here you go. I'm going to break it down in 2. Watch here. Okay. And it came to pass when the children of men had multiplied that in those days were born unto them beautiful and comely daughters, and the angels, the children of heaven, saw and lusted after them, and said to one another, come, let us choose us wives from among the children of men, and beget us children. And Semjaza, who was their leader, it even gives you their names, said unto them, I fear you will not indeed agree to do this deed, and I alone shall have to pay the penalty of a great sin. And they all answered him and said, let us all swear an oath, and all bind ourselves by mutual imprecations, meaning we'll call God's curse on us if we don't do this. Let me quote the rest of it, right? Not to abandon, here it goes, the rest of it, not to abandon this plan, but to do this thing. Then swear they all together and bound themselves by mutual imprecations, meaning invoking curses on them if they don't do this. And they were in all 200, so it even gives you the number 200, who descended in the days of Jared on the summit of Mount Hermon, and they called it Mount Hermon because they had sworn and bound themselves by mutual imprecations upon it. And these are the names of their leaders. Now it gives you the names of the angels. Sam Lazaz, their leader, Arakelba, Ramiel, Kokablil, Tamlil, Ramlil, Daniel, Ezekiel, Barakijiel, these names, Asail, Armaros, Batarel, Ananil, Zakiel, Samsapiel, Sataril, Turel, Jamjail, Saril. These are the chiefs of tens. There you go.
Yes, sir.
So I hope you got your answer.
Yes, sir. I got my answer. Thank you very much.
Any other questions, or this is it?